Hey, pickleballers, we're gonna do a 20-minute stretch for you to do your mornings and then get your body ready for pickleball so that you don't feel any pain. So to start, I'm gonna talk you through all of this and I'm also gonna be showing you. If you have any questions, email me and I'm gonna try to make this as clear as possible. You're gonna start in child's pose. So big toes touching and then knees wider than your hips and try to sit back on your heels. It's okay if your butt doesn't reach your heels. Go as far as you can and then reach your hands all the way out in front of you. Let your forehead come down to the mat. And start here by taking a big, full, deep breath in. Exhaling, let everything go. Do that again. Big, full, deep breath in. Exhaling, let it go. This time, as you inhale, take a big, full, deep breath in. Come up to your fingertips, and as you exhale, walk your hands all the way over to the right side. Drop your hips back down to your heels, and it should feel like a really awesome stretch down the left side of your body. Breathe into your upper back. On your next inhale, come back up to your fingertips. As you exhale, walk your hands all the way over to the left. Again, reconnecting with your breath, focusing on that inhale. As you exhale, get a little deeper of a stretch in your right side body. You can press your right hand down into the mat a little bit more. Awesome, come back through center. Press yourself up to hands and knees, shoulders right over your wrists, hips right over your knees. Tuck your toes under. Inhaling, lift your heart, lift your tailbone up. Should feel good throughout your core. And as you exhale, tuck your toes so the tops of your feet are flat on the mat and round through your upper back. Drop your head. As you inhale, see if you can create space between your shoulder blades here. On your next inhale, lift your heart, lift your tail, tuck your toes back under. I'm pressing my hands down into the floor and then pulling my hands back towards my knees. It gets me a deeper stretch. Exhale, round it forward. And now start flowing with your breath. Inhaling, lift up. Ride the exhale to round forward. Two more just like that. Inhaling, open up. Think about pulling your heart forward towards the top of your mat. Exhaling, round it all the way up there. And one more like that. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round. And this time start doing some big hip circles. So really exaggerate the movement. Imagine you're drawing a circle with your hips. And start moving the other direction. If you find a good spot in your back, something that feels a little sticky, stay in it, breathe into it. You don't have to keep moving here. Okay, good. Now, keeping your hands where they are, tuck your toes and send your sit bones up, coming into down dog. My knees are gonna stay soft. Keep your right knee really deeply bent and start to drop your left heel towards the floor. Awesome stretch down your left calf. If I keep my knee bent, it gets all the way down into my Achilles. So start to just bend and straighten that left knee. Good, and then switch sides, deep bend in your left knee, send your right heel down to the mat. Go slow here, let your calf slowly open up. And start to straighten out both legs. My legs aren't gonna be totally straight, my knees have a bend in them. And as I curl my sit bone up to the ceiling, I get a really deep stretch in my hamstrings. My body's not really warm enough yet, so it doesn't feel that awesome yet. So go easy here. On your inhale, come forward to plank, shoulders right over your wrists. We're gonna warm up your shoulders a little bit. Exhale, press it back to down dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, back to down dog. Knees stay bent. Inhale, forward to plank, hold it here. Drop your knees down to the mat, hugging your elbows in, slowly lower down. So you're laying on your belly, prop up to your elbows. Keep your elbows right underneath your shoulders. My baby toes are pressing into the floor. Think about pressing your baby toenail down, heels press out, and then pressing your hands down, lift your heart up. Sphinx pose, hold it here. Breathe into your chest. And slowly lower back down. Okay, from here, you're gonna reach your right arm straight out to the right side on the floor. Right arm straight out to the right side. Now I'm gonna roll onto my right side. And it should feel like a really good stretch through your armpit on the right side and the front of your right chest. You can let this left leg come back behind you. If your back feels really open and flexible, you can plant your foot flat, left knee is gonna bend. And I'm using my left hand to press down into the floor and twist a little deeper. Come on, back through center and switch it up. Left arm lines up with your left shoulder. Roll onto your left side, right leg steps back. Using my right hand to press down into the floor and go a little deeper. Come on, back through center, prop back up into Sphinx. So back up to your elbows, heart pulling forward, baby toes in the floor, heels out. Okay, now the hardest part here, try to relax your butt cheeks. Relax your low back and pull your heart forward. Again, I'm pressing my hands down into the mat and pulling back. They're not actually moving, but it makes my heart move forward. It feels really juicy in my back. Cool, slowly lower down. Press up to hands and knees and make your way back into down dog, pedaling out through down dog. Really get into those hamstrings, those calves. When you're ready, step your right foot forward between your hands. Drop your left knee down to the mat. Untuck your left toes and press your hips forward. I feel a really deep stretch in the front of my back leg, in front of my left leg here. Some of you might feel this in your right glutes or even in your low back. That's cool too, a little extra love there. If you want more, you can walk your hands up and lift your heart up. It should feel like a good stretch. You want to go to the stretch, not past it. So no pushing through pain here. Keeping your legs right where they are. Left hand is going to stay down, right arm is going to lift up, twisting. If you want to add on, tuck your left toes under, lift your left knee up off the mat and roll your wrist around, right wrist is going to roll around. Circles in both directions. Just getting some movement in your fingers and your toes. Now as we're here, add a little weight to the big toe side of your right foot. Just press down from there. Good, right hand comes back down, step it back to plank. Lower your knees down to the mat, come all the way down to your belly. Prop up to elbows. Option to stay right here. If this still feels like a good stretch in your back, stay here, keep it. Make sure your heels are guided out apart from one another. No pinching in our low back here. If you want more, press your hands down into the mat. Maybe start to straighten out your elbows. But notice how my shoulders are still drawing down my back, my elbows are soft. Nothing is locked out here. Again, really hard part, relax your butt. Unclench your butt cheeks. Awesome, slowly lower down. Hands slide back, push up to knees, into down dog. Great, side two, left foot steps forward. Right knee down. Hips press forward, untuck your right toes. Lean into it. You'll notice a little bit of a difference from one side to the other. It's totally normal. Notice which hip flexor felt different. I feel an awesome stretch through the front of my right hip. A little bit in my left outer glutes. Option to stay or walk your hands up. And add a little twist here. Right hand down. Left arm up. Maybe you're gonna add that right knee can lift up. Tucking your right toes, lift that right knee up if you want it, and roll your wrist around. Both directions. Next, plant your hand out. Step it back to plank. We're gonna come right into down dog. And step your right foot outside of your right hand. This is gonna sound weird and feel really good. So my right foot is outside of my right hand. Left knee down. Option to stay right here. If you can, see how it feels if you come down to your left elbow. Maybe come out to the little toe side of your right foot. I'm gonna turn sideways and show you what this looks like on the side. But I want you to feel this outside of your right hip. Some of you are gonna feel it underneath your right leg, like hamstring or even inner thigh. Maybe come down to elbows. This is called lizard. So you're gonna stay here. I'm just gonna show you from the front. So from your down dog, you are gonna step your right foot forward, back knee down, maybe down to elbow. And then I'm coming on the little toe side of my foot. This is the key here. And then I get that outer hip. I want to make sure that my knee is tracking in line with my middle toes to keep my knees safe. So if your knee is falling in, turn your toes in. If your knee is falling out, turn your toes out. Really important to keep that aligned so that you're not pulling on anything. And then you can rock a little bit side to side. This should feel really juicy and intense. Totally okay to stay up on hands. If this hurts your wrists, come on to fists. Cool. All right, give that a break by coming up to hands and shifting back into half splits. Here's my beef about half splits. You're welcome to come up to blocks if you have them, or just use a water bottle to come up, but keep this front knee bent. So I don't have to straighten out my front leg in order to get in my hamstring. In fact, if I keep it a little bit micro bent here, and I pull my right butt cheek back towards the back of my mat, then I get into the belly of my thigh. That's where you want to feel. It's right in the meat of the underneath of your right thigh. Hold it here. If you want to make it more intense, think about pulling your heart forward. So imagine you have a string right here on your chest and you're pulling towards your toes. Again, keeping that bend in your right knee. Okay, cool. Bend back into your right knee deeply. Step it back to plank. We're just going to switch sides. Left foot outside of your left hand. Right knee down. Maybe down to your right elbow. Maybe down to your left elbow. Left toes turn out 45 degrees. Maybe come on the baby toe side of your left foot. And breathe a little life into that left hip. This should feel good. It should feel like a good stretch, kind of like a good hurt. No pinching, just creating space. Take a deep breath in. Exhaling, let go. Nice work. Come on back up to hands. Shift it back into half splits. So hands on either side of your left foot. Shift back, left knee stays bent. If this bugs your back knee, I know for some of us, the kneecap can get really sensitive. You can double up your mat and pad under here, throw a pillow under there, go on the carpet, anything that you need here. Protect that back knee. It helps me if I flex my foot and press into the ball of my right foot. Left knee stays a little micro bend. Pull that left hip back in space towards the back of your mat. And get into the belly of your left hamstrings. Awesome. Bend back into your front knee. Step it back to plank. Lower all the way down to your belly and flip over to your back. So laying on your back, I'm going to come on the carpet because it might be easier for you to see what I'm doing here. Laying on your back. Straight your right leg out in front of you, hug your left knee in. If this feels like a stretch right here, stay here for a second, breathe. When you're ready, you're gonna twist your left knee over to the right. So my left arm reaches out to the left side, my left knee twists all the way over, and I'm using my right hand to kind of guide my leg over. If your knee doesn't touch the floor, no big deal. Just go until you feel that really good stretch in your low back and even in your left glutes. And come on back up through center. Hug both knees in. Give yourself a little hug, a little shimmy from side to side. Keep your right knee where it is, send your left leg out in front of you. And when you're ready, use your left hand to guide your right knee over, right arm out to the right side. The goal here is eventually for your right knee to touch the floor while your right shoulder stays on the floor. Don't worry about getting there, just know where you're kind of pushing to or guiding to. Come back up through center. Both knees hug in. And we're gonna deepen that. So if that felt really good and really intense, just do that again. Just one knee in and twist. If you want a little more, arms are gonna come out to a T. Wrap your left knee on top of your right, left over right, and drop both knees to the right. If this feels good, but not quite enough, bring your right hand to your left hip and press your hip away from your torso. You can also just bring your hand to your left hip and twist over a little bit. See what feels good here. And come back up through center and switch it up. So I have to shimmy my hips to the right a touch, right knee over left, knees to the left. Deepen the pose however it feels good. Maybe press your hip away. Maybe twist a little deeper. Perfect. Come on back up through center. And planting your feet down into the mat. Inhale, roll your hips up. Exhale, roll them back down. Do that a couple of times. Inhaling, roll up. Exhale, lower down. One more. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, lower down. Then hug your heels, either hand, grabbing your outer foot, and pull your knees outside of your thighs. Happy baby. If it feels good here, press your tailbone down to the floor. Maybe rock a little bit side to side. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock yourself up to a seated position. If it feels good on your back, this could be an awesome back massage, so feel free to rock yourself back and forth a few times. When you're ready, come all the way up to seated. You should feel really good. Namaste, have a great day.